All right, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino, and it is a Saturday. It is extremely unusual for me to be doing a video blog on a Saturday, but these are unusual times to say the least. I want to put a perspective on a whole bunch of things. Again, a lot of stuff going on here. So we're going to do my markets, a look ahead segment right here. What we're going to do a little differently today, because it really doesn't matter in this environment, is we are not going to look at charts. This environment is different, and we're going to put, again, a perspective on that too. Let me start off with this. So I wake up this morning and I open up my email box. To say the least, I got some very, well, it looks like I upset a lot of you. And I do apologize for that. Maybe I was a little blunt in my post-market report yesterday. Look, I didn't mean to come across in any kind of a bad way. But sometimes things get to me, and I just, I don't try to sugarcoat anything. You all, if you've been with me for years, you know that. I give it to you as straight as I possibly can, and it looks like, and I apologize, I hurt some people's feelings out here, and I did not mean to do that. So what we're going to do is going to try to, again, put this all together and maybe clarify some of the things I said yesterday. Look, and this is the truth again. I really do love all of you out here, and I want us to come together. This two-party divide is ripping our country apart. It's the truth. So anyway, let's start off with what's going on right now. So we did get a partial government shutdown yesterday. It's bleeding off until today. Apparently, they're trying to scramble to try to fix things. Look, this is a symptom, or whatever you want to call it, of dysfunction in Washington. It's very sad that they always do this. They hold we, the American people, hostage, because that's who gets hurt in all of these kinds of things. It's insane that we have to live under a regime like this, but sadly, we have allowed this to manifest itself. It's time that we change things. It's the truth. And hopefully we will at one particular time. I know I'm going to take heat for this. I believed that things would be different under our current president. I voted for this guy. I do believe in a lot of things that he is doing, I think, are positive, but unfortunately, it seems like right now there's more negatives than positives, but this can change. However, we have to also put this into perspective. Right now starts the time where presidents have to start thinking about getting reelected. So it's debatable as to how much effort is going to go into actually fixing things here in our country, or fixing the situation, or getting reelected. We all know about this. We've seen this over and over again. So with regard to these markets here, with this government shutdown, this again injects uncertainty into the markets. And this is why I do not believe that we can look at a technical chart and try to decipher what's going on. Technicals right here in this environment, they don't matter. We're actually seeing technicals break down across the board. And it's not just in equities or in stocks. We're seeing all kinds of things go on here, and that is, it's ominous, especially the signal that we're getting from the debt market. You all understand that the debt market is the largest aspect of this market by exponents, and it's not even flashing orange right now. The debt market is flashing red. So again, everyone's fixated on the stock market, what the stock market is doing, but you gotta understand what's going on in the debt market first. And we've been getting warning signs from the debt market for a very long time. I have outlined this for all of you at length. It's crazy. So our issues right now facing us this week are clearly geopolitical. Okay, Washington has got to get its act together. With regard to border security, yesterday I explained to you that in this modern age, I do not feel personally, and I'll cover this a little more, that using some kind of an ancient technique, a wall, you know, that is standing alone. A wall by itself will do nothing. These are monuments to the stupidity of man, according to General George S. Patton. I happen to agree with that. However, with that said, if you noticed in the video I said yesterday, and I said this, if you were to do a wall, okay, that's one thing, but you can't just leave it there on its own, just standing there. The wall would have to be surveilled, guarded, or something else. So in many ways, the wall does not make sense. But if you, again, invested in a wall and you were to guard the wall or something, that would be a different thing. But it can't just be, just a wall. It just seems just kind of, like I said, archaic in many ways in this modern age. So anyway, with regard to that, some solution, they're going to have to throw out some solution. Some kind of a compromise is going to have to come from Washington. Will we get it today? I don't know. Now, there again is the problem. If this bleeds off until next week, the market is going to take a hit. Why? Uncertainty in the market. It always works like this in an environment where we are getting technical breakdowns across the board. That is a frightening prospect, okay? Number two, that was number one. Number two, with regard to this China trade issue, either we're going to win a trade war or we're not going to win it. As of now, we are not winning this trade war. Now, before you flip out, let me explain to you what I'm talking about. Some of you are so, and this was from this morning, are so, because I had mentioned this yesterday, Greg, you are so wrong. We are winning the trade war. You don't know what's going on there in China. Well, maybe you don't either. But this is what the Chinese are doing, and I want to put that into perspective so we can understand how this is actually going here and why something needs to be done. A compromise of some kind, a real one, not a truce. This truce is nonsense. It's not even a truce. We all understand that. It got floated out there as a truce, but it's not. Now, yesterday I had covered, and this is important, people, it really is, how we, the American people, are being forced to subsidize farms here in the United States which are owned by the Chinese government. This is something that I find absolutely unacceptable. Okay, again, either we're in a trade war or we're not in a trade war. We can't be giving hundreds of millions of dollars to farms, again, owned by the Chinese, at the same time trying to fight a trade war with them. And then, you know what they do? They float out, oh, look, well, the Chinese are buying soybeans from us. Well, it's the soybeans they're making, so it's a win-win for them. You understand? So if our president really wants to win this trade war, we have to start right here in the United States with, again, eliminating subsidies for these Chinese-owned farms. I mean, it's that basic. And then it goes on to a whole bunch of other things here. Now, what the Chinese are doing, and you can see it, understand, President Trump is going to be running again very soon. He's got to start campaigning very soon for next cycle. The Chinese are waiting him out. They're like, okay, you don't want a deal. We're going to make sure you lose the next election. You understand? So they're sitting here. So you want to talk about, a government right now that does not want President Trump to win the next election? Look no further than China. And they're waiting it out. They want to cause geopolitical strife. They want to hit our stock market. A lot of this turmoil in the stock market is from, again, this China trade war, which we really have got to try to win. We're not really doing that right now. And again, our president needs to stop now. I mean, today, really. Forget about the stock market, because we know we would take a hit. But he's got to stop subsidizing Chinese industry here in America. I mean, it's just too stupid. You got to win a war. You got to be brutal. It's a trade war. It's been called that. The president has called it a trade war, so it's a war. Let's win the war. You understand? That means that you and I are going to have to suffer a little bit, but you know what? I get it. I got that. And in the end, yeah, we'll all come out better. But there is going to be some pain, no doubt about it. So that's number two. We have to win the trade war, and it starts here in America. Otherwise, we're going to lose. China's going to ride this out. They're going to wait. They're going to make sure President Trump loses. And unfortunately, it seems to me at this point here, with the way things are going, that he will not win the next election unless something changes. And it's got to change now, not next month or the month after that. I mean, we're getting very close here to the time where a president who's looking to be reelected has to start hitting the campaign trail and hard, and at least try to fix what's going on here. There is geopolitical strife all over the place, and on top of that, we are in a global economic slowdown. I explained to you that our president needs to level with the American people. He needs to explain to them that we are in a dire, dire situation. Our debts and deficits are exploding to the upside, no end in sight. There is no real economy here. And that bothers me too. And our president knows this. He's not a stupid man. I know a lot of you think he is, but he's not. All right? He clearly understands everything I'm saying here, and stuff that you know too. He knows these things. But the narrative is, this is as good as it gets. We have a strong economy, and we've created all these jobs. These jobs are not, we can't sustain the environment we're in. You know that. It's all being propped up on the back of exploding debts and deficits. This is why he didn't want the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates. I mean, we didn't even really get an interest rate hike. We got a 25 basis point hike to the federal funds rate. But look at that yield curve. We are essentially flat at this point. Bond market is screaming. There's trouble coming down the pike. So these jobs that have been created, that they've been touting, are going to go away. And it could be relatively soon. This will destroy President Trump's chance of being reelected. I know a lot of you want to see that happen. Personally, I don't want to see that happen. I'll be honest with you. I want whatever leader in our country is up there to succeed. And again, I did vote for the man. I thought things would be different. Maybe they will. Maybe I'm deluded and they won't be different. I don't know. But it's a few things here have got to be done, and they have got to be done soon. And let me just go back to this too. And this brings me, I guess, full circle. A few days ago, I put forth a proposition to all of you, and I keep getting feedback about it, overwhelmingly positive about what I had said needs to be done to fix the situation. Look, in the video that I did yesterday, I explained to you that this stock market right now has become a black hole with no bottom in it, and it's going to suck the middle class down, maybe many of you as well. And that's a terrible thing. I don't want to see anybody suffer. You know that. The collusion that has occurred between world central banks and their respective leaders to keep rates suppressed now for over a decade has manifested a financial monster. And I'm not over-exaggerating this. It's a financial monster of epic proportions. And it's going to be reflected in the markets of the world literally falling down a black hole or getting sucked into a black hole. I'm not sure how black holes work. Anyway, something like that. You get what I'm trying to say. But the issue is we got to fix a few things right here. And it's got to start here in America. Why here in the United States? Well, first of all, whoever does this, whoever puts forth my plan first will win. And I'm talking about on a global scale. And look, China right now wants the world reserve currency. We all understand that. There's no doubt about it. They would love to see America fail. No doubt about that as well. Whatever country does this first, what I had said, and I'll go over just real quick here, will win. Number one is we gotta take the currency and back it with a fraction of gold. Just a fraction of gold. Now there is a big question. Do we even have gold here in the United States anymore? We don't even know if we do. There's no audit. We haven't been able to see it. We might have nothing. If that's the case, then the United States of America here, our leaders have sold us out, and we are done. We're absolutely done. Our president needs to, number one, verify that we have gold, all right? Now, very simple. We got to just... Gold would more than likely have to be revalued. They have revalued this in the past. They can revalue it to whatever they want. They can make it $10,000, $20,000 an ounce, whatever they want. They have to revalue the price of the gold, and then they have to back the currency with a fraction of gold. That makes the currency worth something, and we will never face a superinflationary or a hyperinflationary environment if we just back the currency with a fraction of gold. It's so simple. And I know there's already bills out there ready to go, but no one's taking action. All right, that's number one. Our president needs to act now. Right now, not tomorrow and not even next week, but he needs to act because this whole thing is coming down now. Number two, that what he needs to do, and I explained this again in that video. I'm going to put a link to that video again in the description of this video. I want you to watch it. It's important. We need to make the debt worth something. The fact that the debt is yielding nothing tells us something. It's worthless. It's just frankly garbage. Okay. If we now, instead of doing these nonsensical 25 basis point hikes to the federal funds rate, we raise it a full percentage point. And I know what you're going to say if you haven't seen my last video. Oh my God, Greg, if you do that, markets are going to crash. What would happen immediately is the markets will fall by a third. This is to my estimation, to the best of what I can come up with. As soon as that would happen, markets would fall by a third. They might actually bleed off half. We might lose half of the market value in a very short period of time. But once the world realizes, again, dollar is backed by gold, fraction of gold, dollar becomes king again. The debt's actually worth something, the yield curve starts to normalize. All right? Markets will rebound. Markets will rebound. But without these things in place, we right now are in a lot of trouble. And it's not just here in the United States, it's all around the world, as we are existing underneath a bubble of debt that there's been nothing like in history, so we can't even really honestly understand how bad it will be. And I believe sincerely it will unfold in a worst case scenario. So what do we need to happen? In summary, geopolitical things have to get straightened out very soon. Dysfunctional government, it's enough. I've had enough of it. I'm sure you have as well. That's our leaders here in America need to get their act together on both sides of the aisle. Period. We need border security. Absolutely. I went over that. And you know my take on it, how I believe it needs to be done. China, huge thing here. Let's win the trade war. Let's not dabble in it. Let's win it. Mr. President, I want you to succeed. Win the trade war or you're going to lose. And I mean lose big. You're already losing. I know you don't want to tell anybody that, but it's the truth. And it's got to start right here in America. Cut off subsidizing farms owned by the Chinese government here in America. It's got to stop. All right. And I don't think any of us here in America want to pay for that. And what's the Chinese doing with that cash? Well, they're going to institute a stimulus package for 2019 to stimulate their economy. You can see what they're doing. And they want you, Mr. President, to lose. They're waiting you out. And that's what the Chinese do. Very patient people. Now, just not to you, Mr. President, but to the rest of us here. You have to understand that their government is vastly different than ours here. So their people are used to dealing with things that ours are not. Here in America, people are very soft. And if they see what's happening to their investment plans, the value of their homes, they're going to get angry. And this is what the Chinese are counting on. And they're going to cause you to lose, Mr. President, unless you win the trade war. Start winning it. Okay. And anyway, with regard to fixing the black hole that we have here, people, however you want to look at it, there's going to be pain for you. Me too. No doubt about it. But the bigger picture is we suffer X or we suffer XX. You understand? So I think it's up to us here. Look, we need to take back our government. We need to take back our own lives and stop relying on these frank clowns that are running our government right now across the board, all of them. All right? And understand that we are responsible for this. This is our forefathers designed this whole thing so it was a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Not for a two-party system that points fingers at each other, that tries whatever they can to keep us hating each other. Because we are all part of the same team. All right? If you are on either side to an extreme, you're a loser, and you're going to lose. We got to come together. We got to come together and understand that, again, People, this is our life. This is our world. Let's demand. Let's just make it clear that we don't want to take this anymore. This is just too stupid. All right, look, with that said, I hope this has made sense to you. If any of this has, please let me know. Share the video, get it out there. And again, in the description of this video is a link to a solution which I put forth, which I really hope it gets in front of the right people. We got to fix this. Otherwise, we're really in a lot of trouble, and I can't stress that enough. I can't stress it enough. We've seen this before, but never to this magnitude. A lot of people talking about similarities to the 1987 stock market crash that we're seeing right now. It's also similar to the dot-com bubble and the last 2008, and we're right in the same time cycle for another one. So again, are we going to let this happen to ourselves? Or are we going to take action? What are we going to do? I know what I believe my lions are going to do, and my followers that have been with me for years. Tens of thousands of you from all over the world. And I love every single one of you. I mean that. All right, people. Again, I'm going to let you go. You will not see me tomorrow because this is my Markets a Look Ahead segment. Here, you will see me on Monday. Bye.